Good evening, class. Today, we are spending the first of 2 lessons on career exploration. That is one of the required topics for University 1010, and I think it's really important that as you finish your freshman year and continue on and start thinking about your major and potential job opportunities out there, we like to spend some time to help you start to think about what you might want to do if you haven't decided already, and if you have decided, you might want to revisit that, maybe end up even changing your mind, and that's okay. So, 2 classes we spend on career exploration. The second class, which is going to be on Thursday, we are going to look more specifically at different types of careers, what might be a good match for you. But today, we're going to do something a little bit different. So the first thing I want to do is actually just have you all stand up. So, can you all stand up for me? Excellent, yes. Nice stretch. Get the blood flowing. Okay, perfect. All right. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start describing a job. And I'm going to say different things about that job. And as soon as I say something that makes you not want that job anymore, you sit down. If I say something and you think that sounds like a good job, you keep standing, okay? So just keep standing until you hear something and you say, I'm out, all right? So the first thing to know about this job, it pays $45,000 a year. Okay, we got someone still standing, very good, okay. Your office is in a high traffic area, okay? You're gonna interact with hundreds of people every day. So far, so good, okay. You will be handling money on a daily basis, okay? You will work an 8-hour day, but you get your choice of shifts. You can do morning, you can do afternoon, evening, whatever you want to do, okay? You can work any 5 days out of the week, but you do work 5 days, okay? You will be standing most of the time. We still have someone that wants this job, very good. You may have this job on average for 12 to 20 years. That's the average if someone stays in this job, okay? Your office is partially outside. Okay. And finally, you may be operating heavy equipment. Okay, we have a taker.
Yay!
All right. So first of all, what do we think this job is?
Can I sit down?
Yeah, you can go ahead and sit down. You have earned the job, so you can sit down. What do we think? Any guesses on what this job might be? Everything I said?
Landscaper.
That's a pretty good guess. That's not it.
Something in a warehouse?
No warehouse.
Truck
Medical field?
No? You said medical field?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not medical.
Police.
Getting kind of more in
Security.
the neighborhood. Okay, now you're starting to get a little closer to it.
Guard.
Okay, so it's actually a...
Prison guard.
Good guess. It's actually a toll booth worker.
Oh.
Specifically in New York City, the average salary of a toll booth worker in New York City is about $45,000 a year. So, when y'all sat down, what made you sit down? I think the first thing was, what, $45,000 a year salary? So, you felt like you would like to be earning more than that for your job.
At this point in our career.
Okay. Now that you have chosen this job, how do you feel about it? Eh? So when I was describing it, you were like, that's okay. But now that you know it's a toll booth worker, does that change how you feel about it?
Kind of.
Why is that, do you think?
I don't want to be a toll booth worker.
You don't want to be a toll booth worker. Okay, that's fine. So how did you feel about having to make a decision like this with limited information?
Not good.
Kind of stressful? Yeah, you felt like you kind of wanted to know everything on the front end before you made the decision?
Definitely.
Okay. So that kind of brings us to, when we're thinking about careers, what do you want to do? Where do you want to do it? What kind of person are you? And what do you want your life to be about? And so this kind of gets into a conversation about values. And values is the first thing I want to talk about today, and we're going to do an activity having to do with values. So my first question to you is, and you can flip to the side of your worksheet. It doesn't have the grid on it, the other side that has a box of words and there's a question at the top. Okay? First question is, if you were to describe yourself to someone who you have never met, what would you say? So just kind of jot down an answer there on your sheet of paper. If you were meeting somebody for the first time, they've never met you, and you had to describe yourself to them, what's just a sentence or two? How would you sum yourself up to that person?
So we don't pick from the...
No, the words in the box are for something else after the activity. So just that top question, you're just describing yourself in a few words or a sentence to someone who's never met you.
But are we still talking about a job?
No, we're just kind of...
Or just like your...
We're kind of pulling it back a little bit. Yeah, we're not talking about like job qualities or work qualities. We're just talking about you as a person. How would you describe yourself to somebody that you've never met? It's harder than you would think, yeah. When you only have a little bit. You got your answer?
I have an answer.
Okay, and still working over here? Give you just another minute on that. Having trouble? Okay, all good? All right. So at this point in the lesson, normally with a full class, I would pair the students off and have them kind of share with someone they don't know that well. We do this lesson pretty early in the semester. In this case, my students today all know each other really well, and I've only got 3 of them. But at this point, we would be sharing kind of yourself in one sentence or in a few words. So when we're talking about ourselves, a lot of times we're talking about different values that we have. Can someone tell me what values are? What are values? How would you describe values?
Something that you think is important to you.
Yes, I would agree with that. Something that you think is important.
Standards.
Standards, that's a good word. What do you think values are? Okay, so we're talking about values. Values reflect what is important to us, right? They play a role in our decisions, in our actions, as well as our feelings. Values are what motivate us. Our values determine the things that we do and why we do them. They also are an expression of our needs and our wants. They're how we define success to us. It's not always just about some one standard of success, right? Like I've earned this much money or I've accomplished this many things. A lot of times when you think about, am I successful? To me, it's about your values. Are you living up to your values? And you could say overall they're a driving force in our lives. Does this list seem pretty accurate to y'all?
Yes.
Thank you.
One who didn't have an answer.
So, values. We're going to do a values auction. Has anyone ever been to an auction before? You've been to an auction? You've been to an auction? Everybody's been to an auction. Okay, so you know kind of how an auction works. But this is a little bit different. Instead of bidding on items, we are bidding on values. Because there's no better way to tell what's important to you than what you're willing to spend money on, right? So on the back side of your worksheet, that side, yes, we have a list of values we're going to go through, okay? And so this is how the bidding is going to work. Each of you has $10,000 to spend. That would be nice, right? $10,000. You have $10,000 to spend. it's easy math. You do have to do math, but we are doing bidding in increments of $500, okay? We're not doing 101, 102. We're going to go up and raise the bidding by 500s, okay? And we'll start each item at $1,000. And so it's like any other auction, right? I'll put something up for bid, and if that's something that's important to you in life, or especially in like a career, you will bid on that. And we'll keep going until somebody decides that they want it and nobody else wants it, and the winning bid will go to that person. And then on your worksheet, you'll see there's 3 columns. Normally with a full class, what I would do here is I would have all of the students kind of, before the auction starts, put a price that they'd be willing to spend on it, right? Kind of planning ahead. Knowing you have $10,000 to spend, you're going to decide what value you're going to place on that. And ideally, when the auction starts, you don't go over that. If you say this is worth $5,000 to me and it gets above $5,000, normally a lot of people would kind of bow out at that point. You can keep bidding, obviously, you're not held to this, but this is just to get you thinking on the front end about what you want to spend on things, knowing that you have that budget of $10,000. The second column, so you don't have to worry about that first column for this class. The second column, amount I bid. If you bid on something, even if you don't win it, whatever the highest bid you put in was, I want you to write it down in that column. And then finally, whatever the winning bid is in that third column, you'll write down what the winning bid was, okay? And this is a way we keep track of how good the bidding is for everything. Do you have a question?
Yes, sir. Do we have to put a dollar amount on every line item?
Not at all.
Okay, so we can choose not to bid on whatever.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a really good point. Yeah. You're not gonna obviously win all of this, and some of this you may not have any interest in. It's just not important to you, so you don't have to spend a dime on it or plan on bidding on it at all. Okay. So you've had a chance to look over the list and start getting an idea of some of these things that might be more important than others to you. So, with that said, let me do my best auctioneer. I'm not going to do the fast auctioneer. I tried that one year and it didn't go well. But I am going to try to keep the bidding lively and exciting. It's a little tougher with only 3 bidders, but this hopefully will still get interesting and fun. So the first item up for bid is having a dream job. We have for bid having a dream job. Do I have $1,000?
I don't have a question.
You have a question. Okay, auction pulse. You have $10,000 total to spend. So make it count. Okay, so having a dream job is the first item up for bid. Do I have $1,000 for having a dream job? Anybody want having a dream job for $1,000? It's a bargain right now. We got $1,000 having a dream job. Do I have 2? Do I have 2 over here? You're just scratching your nose? Okay, $2,000 having a dream job. Do I have $3,000 or $2,500? Do I have a higher bid than $2,000 for having your dream job? That is 20% of your auction funds you can spend. I've got $2,000 having a dream job. If there are no other bidders, going once, going twice, sold to you for $2,000 having a dream job. So, for example, on this one, you bid on it. So you can put $1,000, even though you didn't win. You bid $1,000 on that one, right? You're keeping track of the things that you bid on. And then the highest bid was $2,000, all right? You did not bid on having a dream job, so you haven't put anything in that amount I bid column. And you were just marking down what the highest bid was, which was $2,000. Okay, we like to mix it up a little bit. We're not going down in order. Okay, so and we're not going to do all of these for the purposes of this class today. We'll just hit a few of the high ones and see what we can do. So let's try, this should be a good one, own and operate my own business. The chance to own and operate my own business. Do I have $1,000 to be your own boss, people? Entrepreneurship, $1,000 owning your own business. Anybody want it? Anybody want owning your own business for $1,000? It's a steal. It's a bargain. $1,000 owning your own business. Anybody wanting to bid. And we have no bidders. The item is taken off the block. Nobody wants to own and operate their own business. Okay, moving on. Let's try having a high GPA. That's pretty important, right? You want a high GPA to get scholarships, to have a good GPA on your resume after you graduate from MTSU. Who wants a high GPA for $1,000? Richard wants a high GPA for $1,000. Anybody want it for $1,500? High GPA, good grades, top of your class. $1,000 is the going bid right now. We don't care about GPAs. Oh, 1,500? 1,500 in, high GPA. $2,000. Okay, $2,000 to have a high GPA, to be the smart kid in your class. Anybody want to go over $2,000 for having a high GPA? Anybody? Going once, going twice. Sold over here, $2,000 having a high GPA. Okay, make your notes. Let's see here. Helping others. Next up, helping others. It's not just about success, right? And maybe this is one way that you measure success, is that you help others. We're just talking about what's important to you. What are the values that are important to you? So, if helping others is important to you, I'm going to start the bidding at $1,000. Who's a helper? Who wants to help other people? We got $1,000 over here, helping others. 1,500. 1,500? Do I have 2,000 helping others? Okay, helping others for 2,000. Does anybody want helping others for 2,500? Who's a helper? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, 2,500. Helping others. 3,000. We have helping others for $3,000. Anybody else? Any other bids for helping others? Going once, going twice. Sold. Helping others is currently the highest priced item so far at $3,000. And raise your hand if you have won something so far. Everybody's got something? Okay, very good. Just a couple more. Let's try being able to live and work in the community of my choice. Getting to live and work where you want to live and work, okay? Whatever town or city, neighborhood, whatever it is, you get to be there for a living, okay? So we'll start the bidding off at $1,000. How important is your location? $1,000, okay? Who else cares about location? Or who wants to just move all over the place? Doesn't matter, all right? We still have $1,000 over here. $1,000. Anybody want it for $1,500? Okay. Sold. $1,000. Being able to live and work in the community of my choice. Next up is having lots of free time. Man, who has free time now? Anybody have free time now? No? Want some more free time? Okay, well you can have free time for $1,000. Who wants free time to do as you please for $1,000? Anybody? Anybody want free time? Okay, we've got a bidder, $1,000 for free time. Any bids over here? We're still at $1,000. Okay, it looks like we are sold. $1,000, having lots of free time. And right below that.
That meant 500.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed your bid. Okay. You don't get free time. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The auctioneer's not perfect, everybody. All right. I need to learn my auction hand gestures. All right. So the next one is being healthy. Being healthy near the bottom there. Having lots of free time is right above it. So being healthy, that's kind of important, right? They say your health is the most valuable thing that you have. Is that true in this auction? Okay. Being healthy, $1,000. Who wants to be healthy? $1,000 being healthy. Who wants to be healthy for $1,500? $1,500, okay. Healthy, $2,000. Who's going to be healthy? $2,000. Health is wealth, people. $2,000, being healthy. Anybody else want health? And it is sold for $2,000. Okay. Let's see. Let's do having financial security. That's kind of a big one, right? I don't know right now. Each of you guys probably has a different situation. I know financial security is really important to me. Some of you maybe, I know, are working a lot while you're going to school. Some of you are getting support. Others, you're kind of on your own. Financial security is a big deal when you're talking about being successful in college, because if you're having to worry about money, that makes it harder. It makes it harder to focus on your studies and get the grades that you want and graduate. So financial security is extremely valuable. So we're going to start the bidding for having financial security, not having to worry about money, knowing that you have a nest egg, knowing that you have savings Financial security for $1,000. Who wants it? Okay, I got 1,000 over here. 1,500. $1,500. Are we gonna go above $1,500 for financial security? 2,000. 2,000. Thinking about it. Okay. 2,000. 2,500 financial security. Okay. You don't have to worry about money. I mean, how great is that, right? $2,500 financial security. 3,000. $3,000 financial security. Looks like we got a new record setter. Anybody want it for 3,500? It's a third of your budget, but 3,500 for financial security. Anybody want to go to 4,000 for financial security? That's a nice one. 3,500. You want to go 4? Okay, $4,000 for financial security. $4,000. You got to start looking at your budgets now, seeing how much money you have left, right? Okay. Going once, going twice, sold. $4,000, having financial security. Now, we've got several more categories to go through. With a class of 20 or so, we get to go through all of these, and some of these are a little more lively than others. We have categories like, I did not write this, I borrowed this activity, but having a hot girlfriend or boyfriend, that's always a fun one. Being a talented athlete, graduating college, having the ability to change the world. These are all categories that kind of play into what you value. And so the questions I want to ask now is you're looking over the things that you won, the things that you bidded on. Bidded on? Bid. The things that you bid on, thank you. And how much everything went for, right? So the whole point of this is to debrief, judging from the bidding, which items were the most valuable? What were the 2 or 3 things that went for the highest amount from your list?
Helping others and having financial security.
So we had helping others and having financial security. Those were the 2 highest bid items, okay? And which items went for the least? Did we have anything that didn't get bid on?
Nobody cared about hiring that high. No, wait, he did.
I believe, didn't we have one?
Own and operate a business. Nobody
Yeah, owning
wanted
and operating your own
anything
business.
business.
No one wanted to own and operate their own business. That wasn't important to this particular group of people. Okay? So why do we think that is? Why, so for example, owning and operating your own business. Nobody bid on that. Why didn't you bid on that? It's okay, you can tell me the real reason. Hypothetical student. Why didn't you want to own and operate your own business? What is it about that was not important to you?
Because it's really hard.
It is very hard, yes.
Time consuming.
Time consuming, yeah. So some of y'all know about
Lots
owning
of
and operating
sacrificing.
your own business? Yeah.
Financial responsibility.
Okay, so you guys have a really good handle on what it's like to own and operate your own
Our
business.
parents did.
Your parents did, yeah. Okay, so
High risk, low reward.
high risk, low reward. Okay, that's a really good way to put it, yeah. And so looking at the other end of the spectrum, our highest one was financial security. And who won that? You did, okay. And you bid how much for that?
4,000.
4,000 of your $10,000 budget was to financial security. Why is that so important to you?
It's important not to have to worry about how your bills are going to be paid, how you're going to take care of your family.
Right. So if you've got that taken care of, that's a springboard to allow you to focus on everything else.
Yes.
Right. And there's no right or wrong answers, right? I mean, you may be someone who you're okay living paycheck to paycheck. You can do that. You're not that worried about it. Things are always going to work out, right? You're that kind of person. Everybody's different. Good. Do you think an item was most valuable if lots of people bid on it, or if it went for the most money, or both? What do you think? So we've been determining the most valuable were the ones we bid the highest on, but there were a couple that only 1 or 2 of you bid on, and there was a few that everybody put their hand up for. So just something to think about. There are some values that are shared across a lot of different people, and then there are others that are really important to certain people and not at all important to others, right? Was there an item you really wanted that you did not win? What was the one that you wanted that you didn't win?
Financial response.
Financial security, right?
Security.
Yeah. So the good news is you can make that part of your life. you don't have to win this auction, right? Are you satisfied with the things that you bid on overall? Do you feel like they reflected your values? Okay? Very good. And we already kind of covered, were there any items that no one seemed interested in buying? If so, why do you think that was? I believe we did already cover that in the discussion. So very cool. All right. So let's see how we want to move forward here. So normally at this point, I would have the students write some value statements, and that would be one of the exit tickets that they use to leave the class as a participation grade. I would collect this, not their value sheet. I want them to hold on to that, to be able to look at that and think about the things that are important to them. But I normally have students write a set of value statements. I choose to live my life in a way that blank based on that. And we use the words on the back of the handout to assist with that. So that would be the end of the values auction, okay? And the next thing I want to do, we've talked about the things that go into maybe deciding a career, right? The things that are important to you. Another aspect of finding a career is finding someone to help you along the path, right? So you're all, 18, 19 years old. We're going to say for the purposes of this lesson that you are, as your first semester in college, you're probably, we're about 3 weeks in, so you're still riding the high, maybe starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed. Just wait till midterms, right? So at this point, you might think it's too early to start thinking about life after graduation. You're just worried about getting through the next test, through the next week, through the next shift at work, whatever it is. And it's really good to live in the present. But it is also a really good idea to go ahead and start making connections. Because as much as we value here at MTSU and everybody out there in the world values your academic performance, it's not just what you know, it's
Who you know.
who you know. Yes, I figured someone had heard that before. So there's actually a really cool opportunity at MTSU that was launched last year, and I decided this year to make it a part of our class. And what it involves is you actually, beginning today, finding a mentor to kind of help you with that next step, getting through college and after graduation. So the program is MTSU Connect, and we're going to go in just a second to visit that website, and we're actually all going to sign up for accounts. My students here in this lesson aren't going to do that, but my students in class would. And so what MTSU Connect does is you create an account. It's kind of like, you guys familiar with LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn, okay. It's kind of like that, but it's specifically for students getting connected to a graduate of the university, okay? Someone who's been there, graduated, has a job, ideally a job in a field that you'd like to be in, right? And so you create your profile, and it matches you up with people that have volunteered to be mentors to MTSU students that are graduates of the university. And we think it's a really good way, first, to get you guys plugged in with alumni, but also to let the alumni kind of get connected to you and see what students now are doing and hopefully help you out the same way that someone helped them. So we're going to set up your MTSU Connect accounts right now. You can do it on your phones. So you can get your phones out, and let's visit go to mtalumni.com. www.mtalumni.com, okay? This is the website for the Alumni Association. Real quick, what's alumni? What does that mean?
You've been there, done that.
Been there, done that. I like that, okay? You graduated from the university. And this is my own particular sticking point. If you are a male graduate, singular, you're an alumnus. If you are a female, single person graduate, you are an alumna. So alumnus, alumna. And then if you are talking about a group, you would be alumni. And specifically, if it's a group of women, you would be alumni, AE. So people always say alumni wrong, just kind of bothers me a little bit, but now you know. So if someone says, are you an alumnus of MTSU, you would say, yes, I'm an alumnus or alumna of MTSU. Okay, so that was my little soapbox for the day. MTalumni.com. You'll see here, this first link on the right is Join MT Connect and mentor the next generation of Blue Raiders. Okay, so this is actually a link for alumni to sign up, and we have been recruiting them to do that. And my link's not working, so I'm just going to go in a different way. You guys can just actually Google MTSU Connect, choose the first link, and here we go. Network with Blue Raiders. This explains what it is, I mentioned. It's a networking and mentoring platform for alumni, students, faculty, and staff. Basically, these people are going to be able to share advice with you as well as job opportunities with you. So, what's your major?
Finance.
Finance. So, ideally, we would be able to get you hooked up with somebody that works in a finance-related job, and maybe they could potentially have an internship or a job waiting for you after you graduate, right? Pretty cool. What's your major?
It's communications.
Communications? Perfect. You can do a lot of things with that. What's your major?
Chemistry?
Chemistry. Okay, and what do you want to do with chemistry? You thinking about like a medical career? Okay, perfect. We'll find somebody for you. Okay, so right here, this link, underline, click here to get started today. And it's going to ask you, if you've done LinkedIn before, this is kind of similar. It's going to ask you for a headline, right? So this would be like in the examples they give here. Product marketing manager, tech enthusiast, social entrepreneur, determined college student. It would be a very generic one you could do, but it's basically just your headline about yourself. What are you? You're a blank. Aspiring dentist, right? If you want to be a dentist, aspiring dentist. Okay. So you put your headline there, you'll choose a headline. Your location should already be filled, Murfreesboro. If you want to put your hometown, if you don't live here in Murfreesboro, you can change it to your hometown. And then if you currently have a job, you can enter the company that you work for and your role here. And underneath, it's going to ask you what you do basically in that job. Just a phrase or a sentence that what you do at that job. Okay? And then we'll hit continue. And at this point, I can't go any farther with the demonstration. I would have the students all on their phones create a profile, and I would go around the room and kind of take a look at those profiles, and we would start getting them in the pool to be matched up with potential mentors. This goes back to my activity for class, finding the perfect mentor. I feel there's real value in that, especially for students who are just starting out. A lot of them undecided in terms of a major, and as I said before, it is definitely not too early to be doing that. And it also has the added benefit of connecting the alumni back to the institution, which is something that's important to me personally as well. So we would finish the MTSU Connect activity, okay? And the good news is we're winding down, okay? Class has, for purposes of this class, come to a close, but there's one more activity before we go. Everybody has Twitter, right? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So, what I want you to do, I know, it's been a struggle of a day. We got through it together. Okay, so what I want you to do is think about one thing that you learned today. The most important thing you learned today. Just a phrase or a sentence. I mean, it could be, I learned that dogs bark when they see something in the window. But anyways, whatever you learned, your number one takeaway, they always say if you can take away one thing from every class, you're doing good. Because I talked for all this time, you guys participated, and hopefully you can pull one thing out of that. So I want you to compose a tweet, okay, with your sentence, whatever you learned, and use the hashtag #TrueBlueFuture, okay? So I learned that dogs bark at things they see in the window. Hashtag #TrueBlueFuture. And you guys know you have a character limit on Twitter, and this is really good for that because it makes you be really succinct about what it is that you want to say. You can't go on and on and on. I learned this and this and this, and I don't need all your notes or anything like that. I just want to know one thing that you took away from this, and you hashtag that, hashtag True Blue Future. And in a second, we're going to search that hashtag and see what people have been saying. All right? So let's see if we have any responses. I think we might. So I'm going to go here and search True Blue Future. Let's see if we have any. Oh, okay. Casey Brown tweeted,